So this diagram we can change according to our convenience also. So like this. This is PR, which is nothing but F3. This is OP, nothing but F2. This is OQ, nothing but F1. Or we can write this one as Q. So F1, where is F1 in this direction? This F1 is exactly opposite to the face of OP. So therefore F1 is equal to F2 is equal to F3. But what are the direction cosines? F1 by OQ or OR is equal to F2 by OP is equal to F3 by PR. So F3 is in the direction of PR, F2 is in the direction of OP, F1 is in the direction of OR. So like this we can find out the triangular law of vectors when three forces are keeping a point in equilibrium. The next one is Lami's theorem. So what we can understand from this Lami's theorem? Three forces may be in the equal magnitude or may not be in the equal magnitude, but these three forces are lying in the same plane. That means three coplanar forces. Acting on a point and keeping the point in equilibrium. So what we can understand from this one? This is F2, this is F3, this is F1. The angle between F2 and F3 is alpha. The angle between F3 and F1 is beta. The angle between F1 and F2 is gamma. So these three forces acting at different angles but keeping the point as equilibrium. Then what is the ratio of these forces? So the ratio of these forces we can try like this. F1, what is the opposite angle between the planes F2 and F3? Alpha. Therefore F1 by sine alpha is equal to F2 by sine beta, because beta is the angle which is opposite to the F3 F1 plane. So F2 by sine beta is equal to F3, then this F2 F1 become a plane. So F3 by sine gamma. This is called Lami's theorem. So what is the use of this theorem? If three forces may be or may not be in the equal magnitude, if they are acting on a point to keep it in equilibrium, then the ratio of the forces and angle between the forces we can find out by using this theorem. So we are keeping one force is fixed and we are observing the opposite one as a plane. The next concept is relative velocity. What is the meaning of relative velocity? As we mentioned in the motion in a straight line, if two objects are moving in the same line, their velocities will be added. But if they are traveling with respect to each other in anti-parallel direction or relative to each other like this. Then the resultant velocity will be the difference between their velocities. But in vector notation, we know that the resultant between the parallel vectors is square root of r square p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta. The resultant vector between the anti-parallel vectors is square root of p square plus q square minus 2pq cos theta. Now we are applying these rules or those rules of the resultant vectors and direction for the concept of relative velocity. For that purpose, we should take two objects which are moving with finite velocities in finite direction, either parallel or anti-parallel. So let us take two vectors which are mutually inclined on each other, but initially they are moving in opposite directions. Let us take, this is vector A, this is vector B. These are inclined on each other, means they are not at all in the same direction, they are separated by some angle. So as we mentioned in the resultant of the two vectors which are moving in this type of manner, we should take or we should connect these two as the two sides of a triangle, we know that. So this is one side, this is another side, B bar, A bar. These are parallel to each other. Then the resultant which connects this one will become VAB is equal to VA plus VB. Once they are anti-parallel to each other, then we should connect them like this. This is A bar, this is B bar. Once they are opposite to each other, therefore VAB is equal to VA minus VB. If we are taking VA, A bar is the forward direction, we can take B bar as the negative direction. Therefore, that's why we can write VAB is equal to VA plus of minus VB. Therefore, it is VA minus VB. If B is opposite to A, then we can write VBA is equal to VB plus of minus VA. Therefore, it is VB minus VA. As we know that in the subtraction of vectors, the commutative law is not valid. But what is the resultant of these type of vectors in case of magnitudes? Therefore, VAB is equal to square root of VA square plus VB square plus 2VA VB into 180 minus theta. This 180 minus theta is for the case of anti-parallel. So, this cos 180 minus theta, we can say this one as minus cos theta also. So therefore, if two vectors are anti-parallel, here we are finding the relative velocity. That's why let us just say the vectors are velocities, or direction of the velocities are anti-parallel. Then VAB or VBA is equal to square root of VA square plus VB square plus 2VA VB into cos 180 minus theta. This part will become minus cos theta. Therefore, it is square root of VA square plus VB square minus 2VA VB cos theta. So, if you applied the parallelogram law of vectors to find out the relative velocity between the two vectors which are anti-parallel to each other, this is the equation. But if they are parallel, if they are parallel, then VAB or VBA is equal to VA plus VB or VB plus VA. The resultant magnitude will be, in case of parallelogram vectors, is square root of VA square plus VB square plus 2VA VB cos theta. Like this, we can find the resultant of the velocities in case of parallel and anti-parallel cases. Now we will see the examples for the relative velocity cases. The best example is motion of a boat. In a streamline flow. A boat is moving in a water, in some amount of water. Like this. A simple diagram for the sailing. Water is moving with respect to ground. Boat is moving with relative to water. We should consider two cases here. Velocity of boat relative to water. Velocity of water relative to ground. Then we can find out velocity of boat relative to ground. Therefore, velocity of a boat relative to water is equal to VBW. Next, velocity of water relative to ground is equal to VWG. Then velocity of boat relative to ground is nothing but VBW plus VWG. Velocity of boat relative to ground VBG is equal to VBW plus VWG. Now we will see the special cases in this question. So, as we know that velocity of boat relative to ground is velocity of boat relative to water plus velocity of water relative to ground. If the boat is moving along the direction of flow, moving along the direction of flow, then this equation will stay same. If this is the case, the time taken to move a distance d in the direction of flow, we should find out that one. Time taken to move a distance d in the direction of flow. Let us say the time is t1. So we know that velocity is equal to displacement by time. Time is equal to displacement by velocity. So therefore t1 is equal to d by v. Therefore it is d by, what is velocity? V bw plus v wg. This is, let us say, equation 1. If the boat is moving in the opposite to the direction of streamline flow, then the equation will change. Now we will find the ratio for this case. So therefore, the second situation is, if the boat is moving in opposite direction to the flow, then velocity of boat relative to ground is equal to velocity of boat relative to water minus velocity of water relative to ground. This minus indicates the oppositeness between the boat and the ground, or boat and the water. So this is the equation. In this case, the time taken to move the distance d in opposite to the flow. Let us say the time is t2, therefore t2 is equal to d by v, therefore it is d by velocity is vbw minus vwg. Let us say this is equation 2. Previously we have equation 1, therefore equation 1 by equation 2 is equal to T1 by T2, where D and D get cancelled, therefore we will get VBW minus VWG by VBW plus VWG. This equation is very, very important to find out the ratio between the times in the opposite flow or in the direction of the same flow is equal to this much. The third case is, if the boat engine is switched off, then velocity of boat relative to ground is velocity of water relative to ground, because velocity of boat relative to water is 0, because the boat will move, it is in the stationary, therefore the velocity of boat will be 0. So therefore the time taken to move a distance d is given by, let us say the time is t3, therefore it is d by v. In this case, therefore it is become d by vwg. This is equation 3. Let us suppose if a passenger, he moved in a boat to a particular position, then he turned back to the downstream. So what is the total time taken? For downstream, the total time taken is, let us say, t is equal to t1 plus t2. So therefore t1 is equal to d by vbw plus vbg plus d by vbw minus vwg. This is the total time taken to travel the distance, means going to the water and coming back to the shore. The next concept we are discussing in the lesson is motion of a boat in a river. So we know this river traveling or river riding. Let us take an observer. He is at one bank of the river, let us say the point A. This is another border or another bank of the river. Point A is one of the such point in one side of the bank of the river. Point B is exactly opposite location on the another side of the bank of a river. Now this person or this observer wants to or wishes to move in the river to reach this point. Means one end of the border or shore to another end of the shore in a boat. Maybe this is the line. If I join these 2 points, yes, it creates a straight line which is vertically downward. Now what are the parameters to be involved in this case is water has some velocity with respect to the ground, nothing but the shore, and boat has some velocity with respect to the water. So let us say this is the direction of the water, forward. So this line indicates velocity of water. And he has started the boat at A and he has traveled like this. So this is some one point C. This is the point and this is the line what we are representing as velocity of water. So for that purpose, this is an imaginary line which indicates the direction of velocity of water. So this one is represented by some dE. Now this A to B is parallel to each other, which are on the opposite sides. The direction of this one, it is nothing but velocity of boat. This is nothing but velocity of water. So dE is velocity of water. The path which crosses the A to D and D to C is velocity of boat. With respect to A, the direction of boat or the velocity of boat is making an angle theta. From the triangle ADE, sin theta is equal to opposite side by hypotenuse. Opposite side is DE, hypotenuse is AD. We know that dE is velocity of water, AD is velocity of boat. We can write velocity of water is as VW. Velocity of boat we can write as VB. Therefore, sin theta is equal to VW by VB. Theta is equal to sin inverse VW by VB. So what is this one? This theta is the angle made by the point of the observer with respect to the velocity of water and to the direction of velocity of boat. This is theta. What is the direction of the resultant? Nothing but tan theta. Opposite side by adjacent side, DE by AE. dE is velocity of water, but AE is not at all is equal to velocity of B or velocity of like that, where E is one of the point in between the A and B. So therefore, where dE we can write VW by AE, where AE is the distance that is equal to tan theta. Therefore, theta is equal to tan inverse VW by AE. The next concept in the same one is time taken to cross the river. So what we can understand from this sub-concept in the motion of a boat, let us suppose the time t is equal to distance by velocity in a streamline, otherwise we can write displacement by velocity. So what is the minimum time or maximum time to be taken? We will find out now. So if this is the case, what we can understand is where distance or displacement is d, is small d, but velocity is equal to Vb square minus Vw square. So the final velocity we should get Vb square minus Vw square, which is based on the concept of right angle triangle, hypotenuse square is equal to side square, side square. So let us suppose AE square, AD square is equal to DE square plus AE square. So AE square is equal to Vb square minus Vw square, we know that. So by applying the triangular rule, V square is equal to Vb square minus Vw square, but magnitude wise V square is equal to modulus of Vb square minus modulus of Vw square. Therefore, V is equal to square root of Vb square minus Vw square. Now we can substitute this V value in this equation. Therefore, time small t is equal to d by square root of Vb square minus Vw square. Like this we can find out the time taken to cross the river, maybe from the time taken to travel from one end of the river, one bank of the river to the another bank of the river. The next concept is crossing the river in shortest time. So what we can understand from this concept is, let us suppose if this line indicates the direction of velocity of boat, we can take the resolution of this velocity vector into two ways. One is along the x-axis, one is along the y-axis. So it is like this. This is velocity of boat. This is x-axis, this is y-axis, which makes an angle theta. So this component is Vbx, this component is Vby. So from figure, we can write Vbx is equal to Vb sin theta, Vb cos theta. Why it is cos? Where x is the similar to the adjacent side of the angle made by it. So that's why it is Vb cos theta. Next, Vby is equal to Vb sin theta. The time taken t is equal to d by Vby. Therefore, it is d by Vby is equal to Vb sine theta. If theta is equal to 90 degrees, then Vb sine theta will become Vb. Because the down component, nothing but the denominator will become maximum, that's why time will become minimum. That's why if theta is equal to 90, Vb sine theta will become Vb, then this will shift to minimum time taken. Small t is equal to d by Vb. So the next concept is we should find out tan theta from the figure for the resolution of the velocity vectors. So if ABC is the triangle, tan theta is equal to BC by AB. But for this diagram, the diagram which indicates the velocity of water and velocity of boat, from there we can write tan theta is equal to dE by AD. But this dE by AD is nothing but VW by VB. BC by AB is nothing but, let us say, the difference between the positions are two different points on the same bank. Let us say it is X. AB, this gap, this one end of the point to the another end of the point, let us say it is D. So BC by AB will become X by D. dE by AD will become VW by VB. Therefore, X by D is equal to VW by VB. Therefore, X is equal to D into VW by VB. What is this X? Shift in the downstream. So shift in the downstream is equal to the distance between the points between the opposite shores into velocity of water component by velocity of boat component, which are moving in the river. The next concept is rainfall in the horizontal wind. So what we can understand is, let us suppose this is the direction of the rainfall. So rain is falling with a velocity v. That's why according to the vector components we can write this one as Vr. It has started at a point A and ends at a point B. But the direction of wind is like this. That's why the title is horizontal wind, not the vertical wind. So the wind direction is horizontal in the direction of C. This B to C is the direction of wind, so we can write VW. Then what is the resultant velocity? Resultant velocity is always which connects from A to C. This one we can find out. For that purpose, we should use the triangular law. This is one of the example of triangular law, because velocity of rain is vertical, velocity of wind is horizontal. These two represent the two sides of a triangle. The third one which connects these two is representing the resultant vector. So therefore, this is the angle made by it, theta. We can write AB is equal to VR is equal to velocity of rain BC is equal to VW is equal to velocity of wind. So therefore, from triangle ABC, tan theta is equal to opposite side by adjacent side, BC by AB. Therefore, tan theta is equal to, what is BC? VW. What is AB? VR. Theta is equal to tan inverse VW by VR. Then what is the resultant velocity? V is equal to square root of VR square plus VW square plus 2 VR VW cos theta. The theta between VR and VW is 90 degrees. That's why we can substitute theta is equal to 90 degrees. Therefore, cos theta is equal to 1. Therefore, resultant velocity VR is equal to square root of V small r square plus VW square 2VR VW. This will become square root of VR plus VW whole square, where square root and square get cancelled. Therefore, V capital R is equal to V small r plus VW. We have seen the applications of triangular law as well as the special cases of the parallelogram law of vectors. So that's why we can find out the total velocity of the velocity vectors with respect to the horizontal ground and horizontal wind direction. The next one is horizontal force on a hanging body. This is the case. What is the statement? What is the description of this problem? Is there is a horizontal force on a hanging body. That means there is a body hanged by a light string, slightly dragged to one side of the corner with a force applied. So this body was slightly dragged to one corner by a force applied with theta. Force applied horizontally is F. Vertically downward, weight of the body is also acting. Once it is dragged by applying the force on another side, it creates the tension. So, if this is theta, this will be, this is T cos theta, this is T sin theta. T cos theta is in the direction of W. T sin theta is in the direction of F. So, F and T sin theta are similar. W and T cos theta are similar. Similar means they are equal amount of forces which is acting on the body from either ends. So, T sin theta by T cos theta is equal to F by W. T get cancelled. Tan theta is equal to F by W. Theta is equal to tan inverse F by W, where F is force, where W is weight acting on the body. So like this we can find out the angle made by the F and W with respect to the given force and weight. This is the problem which is based on the direction of the resultant vectors in case of rain falling in horizontal wind directions. Rain is falling vertically with a speed of 35 meters per second. Wind starts blowing after some time with a speed of 12 meters per second in east to west direction. In which direction should a boy waiting at a bus stop hold his umbrella? First, rain is falling vertically with a speed of 35 meters per second, like this. It is velocity of rain. But at the same time, wind is blowing to start with a speed of 12 meters per second in east to west direction, like this. So this one is velocity of wind. We should find out in which direction should a boy waiting at a bus stop hold his umbrella, means we should find out theta. Before going to find out the theta, we should find out the resultant velocity also. So this is the angle made. So from this, let us say this is AB and AC. Tan theta is equal to this part. Let us say this is dB. dB by AB. dB is parallel to AC. So we can write AC by AB, where AC is 12, where AB is 35. Therefore, theta is equal to tan inverse 12 by 35. So, theta is equal to tan inverse 0.343, because 12 by 35 will get 0.343. So therefore tan inverse, this will by using the Clark's table and logarithmic table explanation, 0.343 is nothing but tan 90 degrees. Tan and inverse get cancelled, therefore theta is equal to 90 degrees. So the boy who is waiting in a bus stop at a bus stop should hold umbrella with an angle theta. Then what is the resultant of the velocity? V is equal to square root of VR square plus VW square. So therefore V is equal to square root of velocity of rain is 35 and velocity of wind is 12. Therefore it is square root of 1225 plus 144. It is square root of 1369. V is equal to, therefore V is equal to 37 meters per second. The resultant velocity with respect to these two parameters is 37 meters per second. The direction of the umbrella, means the angle should be by the umbrella, is 19 degrees. The next problem is, it is one of the applications of parallelogram law of vectors. So find the magnitude and direction of the resultant of two vectors A and B in terms of their magnitudes and angle theta between them. So it is the example of parallelogram law of vectors. So if this is the case, O, this is P, let us say this vector is A bar, and I am drawing the another side of the parallelogram like this. O, this is Q, the vector is B bar. So the parallel lines to this is like this and like this. If I join the both and extending this one, so the resultant of these two vectors pass through the origin and joins the diagonals which are opposite to each other. This is the resultant vector. It makes an angle alpha with the resultant and total is theta. This is also angle theta. This is S, which is touching at a point S. The triangle is N. The resultant vector, which is passing through O to S, makes an angle alpha with respect to the side A, makes an angle B theta with respect to the side OQ. So in this case, from point P, we should draw a normal towards the resultant vector, and this normal touching the resultant vector at a point M. And it is also making an angle here. Now we should use the law of triangles or trigonometric laws to find the values. Suppose from triangle OSN, this one OSN, OS square is equal to ON square plus NS square. What is ON? OP plus PN. What is OP? A. We should find out PN. What is this PN? OP is equal to A from triangle SNP sin theta is equal to opposite side by hypotenuse cos theta is equal to adjacent side by hypotenuse. Therefore, it is Pn by, what is Ps? Ps is parallel to OQ, nothing but Ps is equal to B. So, Pn by B is equal to cos theta. Therefore, Pn is equal to B cos theta. So, therefore, we can write ON is equal to OP plus Pn, where OP is equal to A, Pn is equal to B cos theta. From this one, we can write Sn is equal to Ps sin theta, where Ps is B is equal to Sn. So, we have On and Sn. So, OS square is equal to On square plus Sn square. OS is means the direction of the width or the length of the diagonal from O to S, let us say R. Therefore, OS we can write R square. R square is equal to, what is ON? OP plus PN. Therefore, OP plus PN is equal to A plus B cos theta whole square. Sn is equal to B sin theta. Sn square is equal to B sin theta whole square. So, therefore, R square is equal to A plus B cos theta whole square plus B sin theta whole square. R square is equal to this one, A plus B whole square, A square plus B square cos square theta plus 2AB cos theta plus B square sin square theta. A square, this B square cos square theta plus B square sin square theta will become B square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta is equal to R square. Therefore, R is equal to square root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. This is the resultant magnitude of the given vector or given two vectors which are directed by a and b by making an angle alpha. Then what should be the resultant direction of the magnitude? I mean, if two vectors are given like this, what is the direction of the resultant vector? Let us suppose we draw a normal from P to R. This normal is touching at a point M and it making an angle beta with respect to S. So from this one we can say that, let us take the triangle OSN. So from triangle OSN, tan alpha is equal to, or sin alpha is equal to Sn by Os. Sn is equal to Os sin alpha, where Os is equal to R. Therefore, Sn is equal to R sin alpha. Let us write this one as equation 1. So therefore, the continuation we can say, from the triangle PSN, what is sin theta? Sin theta is equal to Sn by PS. Therefore, Sn is equal to PS sin theta, nothing but B sin theta, because PS is equal to B. So Sn is equal to B sin theta. This is equation 2. Similarly, R sin alpha is equal to B sin theta. From this, R by sin theta is equal to B by sin alpha. We got B by sin alpha in a different way also. Therefore, again similarly from the diagram, A sin alpha is equal to B sin beta. From this, A by sin beta is equal to B by sin alpha. So by comparing these equations 3 and 4, R by sin theta is equal to B by sin alpha is equal to A by sin beta. So from this, now I am equating these two. R by sin theta is equal to B by sin alpha. Therefore, sin alpha is equal to B by R sin theta. Similarly, sin alpha is equal to B sin beta by A. B by A sin beta. Now from the triangle OSN, tan alpha is equal to opposite by adjacent. From triangle OSN, tan alpha is equal to OS by ON. Therefore, OS by ON is OP plus PN. So what is OS? R. So we can write tan alpha is equal to Sn by On, where Sn by On is OP plus Pn. So what is Sn? So OP plus Pn is equal to A plus B cos theta. Sn is B sin theta. So B sin theta by A plus B cos theta. So this is the direction of the resultant vectors with respect to the parallelogram law of vectors. The next concept is projectile. This is one of the interesting concepts in this lesson. So what is the meaning of projectile? Let us suppose a body thrown into air by making an angle theta with respect to the horizontal, like this. This is the horizontal surface. A body thrown like this with respect to making an angle theta with respect to this horizontal. That means this body has is possessing two different types of physical quantities. One is the acceleration of the body, which was maintained or influenced by the gravity, the motion of the body, which was uniform. So acceleration of the body influenced by gravity. This is one of the physical quantity this body possesses. And second, the uniform motion of the body. The body along horizontal. Usually the acceleration of this body is maintained by the gravity or influenced by the gravity, but the uniform motion of the body along the horizontal direction is influenced by the velocity. So such type of bodies which has the influenced gravity in the acceleration and influenced velocity along the horizontal direction, which makes an angle theta with respect to the horizontal, are called as projectiles. The bodies which are thrown upward by making an angle theta with horizontal and acceleration is influenced by gravity, and uniform motion along horizontal is influenced by velocity. This acceleration is influenced along vertical direction, and uniform motion influenced by velocity in horizontal direction, are called projectiles. What are the examples of the projectiles? A bullet fired from gun, a ball which was hit by a cricket bat, next some of the projectiles like the jet planes, those who are doing the revolver motion in the upward of the sky. These are all the examples for the projectiles. Now we will observe the different parameters which are involved to describe the path of projectile. So the next concept is path of the projectile. Let us take a horizontal plane, a body thrown upward with an angle theta. As mentioned in the definition of projectile, its uniform motion is influenced by the horizontal component and its acceleration is influenced by the vertical component. So it is like this. This is along x-axis, this is along y-axis. If suppose the body was projected with an initial velocity of u, so it reaches some maximum height, from there onwards it will reach the earth again, means downfall. The distance from the horizontal, the point on the horizontal line to the maximum height is similar to the propagation along y-axis. So initial velocity is u. Along horizontal with making theta angle, it will become u cos theta. Along vertical, it will become u sin theta. U cos theta, it is u sin theta. The horizontal component of velocity is ux, that is equal to u cos theta. The vertical component of velocity uy is equal to u sin theta. Now, let us say the distance travelled along x-axis is small x. So, velocity is u cos theta. So, velocity is equal to displacement by time. Time taken to travel such distance along horizontal direction. So what we can understand, yes, in the direction of horizontal, what is the time taken to reach the initial point to the final point? That is said to be small t, is equal to displacement by velocity. Let us say the displacement is small x along the x direction. Velocity along the x direction is u cos theta. This is equal to t. Let us write this is equation 1. Now for the same situation we are finding the vertical displacement. So the vertical displacement is y. The vertical direction is y. Y is equal to the distance travelled in the vertical direction when it is projected with a velocity u. The general equation is ut plus half at square. So therefore it is y is equal to, what is u? The velocity along y axis is nothing but u sin theta into t. Acceleration will become minus g because the body was projected up. Therefore it is minus half gt square. Now we are substituting the value of t from equation 1. Substitute equation 1 in equation 2. Let us say this is equation 2. Therefore, y is equal to u sin theta into, so what is t? X by u cos theta minus half g. So what is t square? X square by u square cos square theta. u and u get cancelled, sine by cos tan, so therefore it is tan theta into x minus half g by u square cos square theta into x square. So here let us write, or let us say, tan theta is equal to a and g by 2u square cos square theta is equal to b. Therefore y you will get ax minus bx square. This equation represents parabola, or this is parabolic equation. This is the standard equation for parabola. So parabolic equation it is. So what we can say, the trajectory of a projectile is a parabola. Next we will discuss the parameters of projectile. Means the physical quantities that are associated with the projectile motion. So this is the general diagram. Theta, this is the vertical displacement, this is the horizontal displacement. Here it is u cos theta, here it is u sin theta. So the first physical quantity, or the first parameter which is associated with the projectile motion is maximum height. This is such a point from where the object starts the downfall. So what are the physical quantities involved in this maximum height? Let us say the maximum height means it is in the direction of y. So uy is equal to u sin theta. Once reaches to the maximum height, final velocity of the body will become 0. V is equal to 0. If body is moving up, acceleration is minus g. A is equal to minus g. The distance travelled in the vertical direction to a maximum range is S is equal to hm. So what are the equations we can use to find the solution? So the equation is v square minus u square is equal to 2as. Final velocity is 0 minus the initial velocity along the y-axis is u sin theta whole square is equal to 2 into where acceleration is minus g, where s is hm, nothing but the distance travelled by the body in vertical direction is maximum height. So minus u square sin square theta is equal to minus 2g hm. Minus and minus gets cancelled, therefore hm is equal to u square sin square theta by 2g. If theta is equal to 90 degrees, maximum height is equal to u square by 2g. The next parameter which is associated with the projectile motion is time of ascent. Ascending means going up. So when a body is going up, initial velocity is u, so it is going up. Final velocity is 0. But the velocity initial means it is going up, means vertical direction. So this u will become uy, nothing but u sine theta. So a will become minus g. The relationship between v, u, g is nothing but v is equal to u plus at. Therefore, it is 0 is equal to u minus gt, where u is u sine theta minus gt is equal to 0. Therefore, it is u sine theta is equal to gt. Therefore, t is equal to u sine theta by g. So, this is time of ascending. Ta is equal to u sine theta by g. The next one is time of descent. While a body is coming down, so for a freely falling body, u is equal to 0, v is equal to u, a is equal to plus g. Therefore, again v is equal to u plus at. This will become u sine theta is equal to 0 plus gt. Therefore, t is equal to u sine theta by g. This is nothing but time of descending, u sine theta by g. By observing the equation 2 and equation 3, for a projectile, time of ascending is equal to time of descending. Ta is equal to Td. Both the values are u sine theta by g. The next one is horizontal range. This is one of the parameter or physical quantity that used to describe the projectile motion. So, horizontal range is equal to horizontal component of velocity into total time of flight. This one we should find out. Therefore, total time of flight capital T is equal to Ta plus Td, nothing but time of ascending plus time of descending. Therefore, T is equal to time of ascending is u sine theta by g, time of descending is u sine theta by g, where g is common, so we can write 2u sine theta by g is equal to t. This t is total time of flight. So, horizontal component of the velocity is u cos theta. Therefore, horizontal range is u cos theta into 2u sine theta by g. U into u square into 2 sine theta cos theta by g is equal to horizontal range. If you want to write the simplified form, 2 sine theta cos theta is equal to sine 2 theta. Therefore, horizontal range is equal to u square sine 2 theta by g. So, the next one is maximum range. So, So what is the meaning of maximum range? We got horizontal range is equal to u square sine 2 theta by g. If you see some batsmen hit the ball, that ball will go to the long distance. Some batsmen hit the ball to a fence or to a sixer, it will just reaches the boundary. So the angle of beating is very, very important. The angle applied on the body while they are doing the projectile motion, while they are sticking this, is very, very important. So for which angle the maximum range is possible? Let us say theta is equal to 45 degrees. So that is equal to u square into sine 2 theta means 2 into 45 by g. Sine 2 into 45 is sine 90. Therefore, it is sine square into sine 90 degrees by g. This will become u square by g. So this is the formula to find out the maximum range. Therefore, R max is equal to u square by g. Now we will find out the instantaneous velocity of the projectile. So what we can understand from the instantaneous velocity of the projectile? Let us suppose the horizontal component is u cos theta, vertical is u sin theta. So at this, the velocity is always tangential to the range, or velocity is always tangential to the vertical displacement. So what we can write is Vx is u cos theta, Vy is u sin theta minus gt. We already got this. So velocity is equal to the resultant velocity square root of Vx square plus Vy square. Therefore, it is square root of Vx u square cos square theta plus u square sin square theta plus g square t square minus 2u sin theta gt. So this will become V is equal to square root of u square plus g square t square minus 2u sin theta gt. This is the velocity of the projectile. What is the direction of the resultant velocity of a projectile? We will see now. The next one is the direction of the resultant vector of the projectile. So anything we know that tan theta. So tan theta is equal to Vy by Vx, where Vy is u sin theta minus gt by Vx is u cos theta. If we expand this one, u sin theta by u cos theta minus gt by u cos theta. You get cancelled, it is tan theta minus gt by u into secant theta is equal to tan theta. So what is the angle of the resultant? Theta is equal to tan inverse, the simplified form, u sin theta minus gt by u cos theta. This is the direction of the resultant.